You can totally stay on YouTube. Hey, Paula. Okay, I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. Um, we'll go a little bit. We'll try to be just an hour, but you guys will get kicked off. I'll restart. Okay. So, not sure, there was a big warning thing that flipped up on YouTube saying that they were going to end the stream because of something. So, I'll watch that. I'm not quite sure what happened. Go ahead and stretch those arms up. Come on over, left hand, and just find that. Oh, yeah. Get that give in the waistline. And then come all the way back up and up and over. Finding again that give. And then open through the heart. And then round. Ooh, yeah, just get that round, let back. Stretch forward into child's pose. Forehead to the mat. Take a couple of breaths there. Letting yourself, it may have been a crazy busy day. We celebrated a daughter's birthday, well, 2 daughters' birthdays, and had all of the in-state grandkids at a big grassy park area. I created a relay race and had to show them how to do it, and did it with my 12-year-old grandson and had to sprint against him. It was pretty sad. Go ahead. Take one leg forward and just forward and back. Stretching and reaching. Letting that movement and the breath carry you. So there's an inhale that just lengthens. Make sure that the head isn't hanging and the chin isn't up. That you really are lengthening right from the crown of the head through to the sit bones, through to that back toe. And then stretch back. Same thing. Head here. The minute you stretch the head forward, you get a deeper stretch in that hamstring. Okay, we're not doing a ton of stretching at the first. We're just warming our bodies up. So there won't be Friday classes anymore online. I am teaching at Purify Wellness. They are open. Come and join me, both of you two. Can't see who the other 3 people are. Have to come closer. Again, find that length through the head and then stretch back. And the length through the head and stretch back and still find that length. Then go ahead, we'll get the other side. Take this foot behind. You notice that I pretty much start every warm-up this way. Notice if your head is hanging, try to bring it up. Try to pull the shoulders on the back. Open it up, and we're going to mandalay that arm. Today's going to be an overall, tonight, kind of just an overall body work. Bring that back leg back forward. This time, take this leg here. You're going to come up. So you've got kind of like you're in a warrior 2, but you've got this knee on the ground. It's kind of what I had to do when I broke my toe. Forearm on the thigh, up and over. Finding that stretch in the rib cage. Go ahead, you're low enough, take your hand to the floor. Let this knee come forward and go into that lean. So it looks like this. Take your body back towards that back leg. Come back. Beautifully done. Side to side. Forward with the other leg. Forward and back. So the beauty of this body is that it mirrors and represents pretty much everything we do. That might be a little scary too. Take this foot back behind. Open it up to the side. Mandalay that arm. But my feeling is if you're on your mats this morning doing yoga, or I keep saying morning, tonight doing yoga, open that heart, lengthen the, feel the head pull back into that. So there's a little bit of a back bend. Then bring that foot back forward, turn this leg in, come up. It's a warrior two stance. You're coming over. It's basically a Parsvakonasana. And then let this hand come down, let the knee come forward. So you're basically kind of looking more like this. There's that lean going on, right? Plant those hands downward facing dog. Walk through those feet, warming up the calves and the shins. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Little shifting, side to side. And then go ahead, bring your feet back into the middle of the mat and lift the right leg. Take it up, open the hip. Close the hip. Bring the knee into your nose. Take it back up. Open the hip. Bring the knee into your nose. Drop the shin. Same thing we were just in, except for lift the back leg, bend it, and reach around. This is what it looks like, right? Clasp. Reach the knee that direction, right? Towards the back. And find that as you reach the knee, pull the heel closer to the hip, and you'll get a nice quadricep stretch. And go ahead and release, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Open the hip, bring the knee into your nose, close. Take it back, open, bring it back in. Plant the knee, open it up, plant the hand, bend this back leg, reach around. Yeah, stretching through that quadricep. Now reach the knee longer. Notice I actually move the hips back a little bit as I reach that knee, and then I reach away from it. And it increases the stretch, the give. And then come back, downward facing dog. Walk your feet a little bit closer to the mat. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see this. So instead of being in your long down dog, go ahead and bring it to a place where you can get the heels all the way to the floor. Okay, come up onto your toes. Get equal weight, inner and outer edge. And then push the heel down, bending the knee slightly, lifting the sit bones higher. Push down and forward with the hands, spreading through the fingers. Forearms hug in, shoulders widen. Inner thighs hug in and back. And just find yourself hugging the waistline up, the rib cage in. Oh, yeah. And then slowly walk your feet towards your hands. Come halfway up for a lengthen and a fold. Come all the way to standing, stretch and reach. Do that all the time with that computer. Stretch those arms up. Take that forward fold. Come halfway up. Sun Salutation Series A. Plant those hands downward facing up. You can go back to your normal, or you can step forward, or you can do both. I love to get the calf stretch. Then I step back when I lift because I want to lengthen my spine. Open the hip, close it, nose to the knee, and step that foot forward. Spin the back heel, warrior two. In this warrior two, see if you can get your body straight up, no lean here, and really get the hip, kind of lower that hip. Reverse that warrior. Come all the way back. Parsvakonasana. Plant the hands. See if you can come with a bent elbow right into your chaturanga. Hold, knees down, slight curl open. We don't do a ton of back bends at night, right? Downward facing dog. Second side, bring the feet close for a moment. Feel that calf stretch. And then step the feet back and lift. Other leg, open the hip. Bring the knee into your nose. Open it. Step it all the way forward. Warrior two. Beautifully done. Sit this, just come a little deeper. Warming up. This mat slides. Reverse. Forearm to the thigh. Parsva. Fingers to the floor. Even more. Downward facing dog. Beautifully done. Go ahead and walk your feet to your hands. See if you can heel toe them. You're just getting that warmth in those legs. Come halfway up on an inhale. Take a forward fold on the exhale. Come all the way to standing. Stretch and reach. And exhale. Hands to the heart. Take a couple of breaths. Okay. So, sun salutations, the 16, it's a 12 count. Sometimes it's a 16 count. So I'll just kind of go through them. Hands at the heart is 1. Hands up with a slight back bend is 2. A forward fold is 3. Step your right foot back, knee to the floor, hands on the thigh. Take Anjaneyasana. Right? That's 4, 5, 1, 2, 4. Plant those hands. Downward facing dog is 5. Knees, chest, chin to the floor. Yeah, our caterpillar is 6. Stretch the legs long. Slight curl up, and you can totally bring the elbows forward if you want to come up a little higher to Sphinx. Downward facing dog is 8. You stepped back with your right foot. You're stepping forward with your right foot. Bring the knee to the floor. Hands are on the thigh for this first one. Anjaneyasana. There's 9. Forward fold is 10. Come all the way to standing. Little back bend is 11. Hands to the heart is 12. Same thing, other leg first. 1. Slight back bend, 2. Forward fold is 3. Left foot step back, knee to the floor. This time you have the option of Anjaneyasana. You still got the lean going, but reach up. Take a little back bend if you want. Downward facing dog. Get that pump going, a little bit of that heat in your body. Knees, chest, chin to the floor. Stretch back. Curl it open. I love to come into Sphinx here. Get a little bit more of a curl in my upper back. Downward facing dog. Left foot went back. Left foot comes forward. Knee to the floor. Anjaneyasana. Maybe a little back bend. Come all the way to a forward fold. Come all the way to standing. Sweep those arms up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Beautifully done. Okay. I feel like we're pretty warm. I want to start. We're going to do timers. Okay. They said it was pretty loud last time, and that's because I was doing Facebook Live on the same device that I was dinging. We're going to start with a forward fold. We're holding it. We can do a minute or 2 minutes. So I'll hold for 2, but you'll have for 1. Go ahead and just take your forward fold. While you're here, okay, Will you shift your hips back and forth? Take a good 30, 40 seconds to do so. Really exaggerate. Even let your toes and the ball of your feet lift. And then come all the way back forward. Get a little bit of the calf stretch. So you're just kind of moving forward and back with those hips, with those hamstrings. On that ding, okay, grab your elbows and just hang. Try to get your hips right up over the heels. Maybe you just put your, I love to get my hands inside the forearm so that they don't have to clasp, so that everything can relax, and so does the neck. Chin comes towards the chest so that the top of the head can really just hang. I think we'll hold this one 3 minutes. So on the ding, we'll have 1 more minute. This feels really good to me tonight. Make sure that there is a little bit of that inner pull from the inner ankles. And reaching the sit bones as high as you can get them. Okay, we've got 1 more ding. 1 more minute. Take some deep breaths and let your breathing be as completely normal as you can. On the ding, child's pose. Step back to down dog and bring your knees to the floor. Notice if your heels can come a little deeper than they did before. Bring your knees down, child's pose. We hold these rest poses for about 30 seconds. Go ahead, walk your hands up, okay, ankle pose. Reach back, you're on the tops of your feet. Let your knees lift, okay? Now, if that was really sensational, go ahead and put your hands back here, right? Always, always. If you can, maybe you can bring your hands to your heart. We'll hold this for 1.5 minutes. So we just got 1 minute left. Try to breathe. One of my favorite definitions is to find with breath is to like a straw that's going down into where you feel the sensation, which for me is on the front of that ankle. And I inhale and try to suck out the sensation. And then I blow my exhale back through that straw, down into that place. And I usually can feel warmth and a little bit of a release. Notice we're holding these poses just a little bit longer. From here, you're going to come to your hands and your knees, and you'll roll through your ankles. And go ahead and roll. Whoa, that's sensational. Yeah. And go ahead and roll through those ankles, both of them. So we're going to come into cattail pose. It is a twist. Okay. I'll set you up, but you're going to come onto your back. top leg goes all the way to the floor. Back, this top hand is the underneath leg. And you're going to pull that leg as much as you can to that direction, okay? We're going to take the 30 minutes to get into it, or 30 seconds, 30 minutes. Now, you're going to try to get this top shoulder back to the floor while this leg stays. And now, if you can't get totally on the floor and you notice that I'm not, I start to give as I hold this pose. So take some deep breaths, maybe go a little bit side to side. 2 more minutes, 2 more dings. Take some deep breaths. You'll notice my knee's a little bit off. I'm just slowly working my way into this pose. There's pressure on the foot holding. If you can get this arm straight, awesome. There goes my shoulder. It's now touching. My knee's still elevated a little. Just take some deep breaths and let yourself move. One more minute. Then we'll switch to the other side, holding Shavasana for 30 seconds. Hey, Blair, when we move, can you turn those lights down? Deepening your breath if you can. Try to match the inhale and the exhale. Slowly let go of the foot. Bring the knees together. Shift into Shavasana. Just 30 seconds, and we'll go on to the other side. Go ahead and start twisting. Top leg, you go on the other side. Twist and get the leg first. That way you can bend this knee and reach up. Okay, and I really do push this elbow by the knee into the floor, head into the floor. Pick up my body and twist it back. Okay, I am trying to get this leg behind me so that my arm can be straight. And then I'm not pushing down on this knee at all. 2 more minutes. Breathe. Let the breath help you release the body, the hold of the muscles. We'll come back into Shavasana. Notice that as you hold, your breath starts to calm. Your body starts to kind of go, oh, 1 more minute. Letting the twist just happen. The breath, the body softens. release the foot first. Slowly unwind. Go ahead and this time take the feet wide. Shift so that you're straight on and just knock those knees. You should feel a little stretch right on the outside of that hip. Holding this just for 30 seconds. We're going to turn over onto the side and come to a seat. Butterfly pose. Go ahead. Turn over. Use your hands to bring yourself up. Please grab a pillow for underneath your hips. Feet wide. Okay. Couple of things you can do. If pillows, blocks underneath, if you need to, we'll hold this for 3 minutes. Okay. If you want, you can take your hands underneath. That helps me sometimes. Or they can be in front. Okay. You're finding length in your spine so that you hinge at the hips. And then when you reach your point of that's as far as I can go, you just let it curl. You're rounding your spine, but the spine isn't rounding from the low back. Okay. The spine is rounding from up above. So you're hinging to keep that and then rounding. At any time, okay, you feel like there's just too much sensation, you're walking up and lengthening, coming out, even bringing the knees in and coming back down. I'm going to always give you that option, okay? This is a definite stretch in the low back. This really helps decompress the spine. I want you to recognize the curl you're creating in this spine. If you feel like you need it, you're welcome to put something there so that your forehead can rest. Your breathing is slow. Will you take your forehead and just kind of roll a little bit from side to side? That's sixth chakra. Sometimes it's a doozer. And then bring it back to center, and you're just going to kind of nod your head yes. And then hold. When we come out of this pose, we've still got another minute after this ding. We're just going to kind of shake our legs out and go into a caterpillar pose, which is really just a forward fold over your legs straight, Dandasana. So 1 more minute here. On the ding, right? Stretch out the legs, shake them out. walk yourself up, help your knees in. That's hard to keep them wide like that. And then just kind of wiggle, stretch them out. Okay. And then slowly, you're just going to work your way into a forward fold. Same thing. It's keep something underneath your hips. Okay, legs are straight. You are not reaching for your feet here. It's not a stretch. At least it is, but it's not. Right? You're not reaching for length. Go ahead and come in. We'll actually hold this one. We're going to go to 5 minutes with this one. Well, 4.5. This is such a fabulous, again, another decompression of the spine, but this one with the legs long. For me, this one gets deeper into my low back and not so much into the outside of the hips. Four minutes. You can reach your legs long or your hand. Those are legs, those are arms. Have you noticed that when we do this kind of yoga at night, how great you feel, and going to bed, you just sleep like a baby? Again, at any time, if you feel the need to come up, to get out of that, if it's just too intense, come up, take that breath, okay? Advanced yoga is just that. My body's done. Now, I'm taking a class, I've been taking a couple classes. She's a wonderful teacher at Purify. And one of the things I love that she says is, you're stronger than you think. So don't just hold in pain, but maybe you get to a place where it's just like, oh, okay, I got to get out. Maybe you just say, I'm going to take one or two more breaths and then I'll come out. That honoring of the body is one of the best things we can do. Can we get to a point, and I say, yes, we can. I'm not there yet. And I think it will be a constant journey. But a place where we really know exactly what our body needs and we give it that. Your chin can totally tuck here, releasing the head, the neck. We've got one more ding after this next one. And we're going to go to Shavasana. But we'll go a whole nother minute. We've got about a minute and 15. One more ding. About 20 more seconds. I know you're doing such wonderful work. Really notice how we go in with our breath, quite like limiting them. Hard to take those breaths, and then slowly we find that breath. It's just so incredible to me. Use your hands. Walk yourself up. Bend your knees, right? Move your pillow from out from behind you. Scoot down. Grab a hold and roll onto your back. Rock side to side. And slowly one. Oh, that's a lot of stretch. We're going to hold this one for a whole minute. Feel the lungs expand as we've unfolded them. Beautifully done. Bend those knees, roll over to the side. Use your hands to bring yourself up. Okay, again, I've got this mop of hair, it's drying. Go ahead and come up to a seat, prop something under, okay? Dragonfly. Legs go out. Now, this is the one, if you've got hyperextended knees, Paula, you dancer woman, then you're making sure that the heels are pushing in, okay? And then you're coming here. Now, full dragonfly is clear out here all the way to the floor. Okay? Don't start there unless that's a real easy place for you to go. Go ahead and grab a block. Okay, take the block. Start with your hands reaching. Okay? Now, as you do this, you'll notice that my feet are up in the air, right? So they can come a little bit forward. I don't want them to go back. Okay, we're moving the pelvis forward. We're letting it go. We're letting there be a give to it. Okay. So you can look, I've worked my way to my forearms. We started up here, but the minute you find that tilt of the pelvis, you can start to feel a little bit more. Again, check that those knees, if you're feeling it behind your knees, you're putting a pillow under each knee or a block or something that gets right in there, right? To help support that. So if you feel it behind your knees, that's where you're at. We'll hold it for another 2 dings. So a total of 3 minutes because it took us a bit longer to get into this one. As you're here, go ahead and if you can, or if that's part of your practice, my head right here is straight up and I'm actually lifting the chin a little bit. Let the head hang. Start with the block up, forehead on the block. You're welcome to lower the block. We've got one more ding after this next one, okay? If you want, you can totally move the block and come to full dragonfly. I hinged at the hip, right? So that I can get that forward motion. One more ding, 1 more minute. Well done. After here, we're going to go into some supine hero. Virasana. If you need to bring your head up a little bit, I'm feeling a little bit of pressure around my eyes and temples. So I'm bringing my head up. And go ahead and slowly walk those hands in, bend those knees, draw the feet in, draw the, yeah, just wiggle through, okay? So grab a block, a pillow, hero pose, okay? If you have knee issues, those of you that I can see that are on, don't, okay? You're coming here. I still like to use a block, okay? I'll start you here and then I'm gonna turn to the side. Your heels are wider. They're just on the outside of your hips. The knees aren't out, they're in. Okay, so that's hero pose there. I do have a block. I love doing this with the block. I also love doing this with a pillow and just sticking that pillow there. Okay, so that it gives you just that little bit of a lift. All righty. And then slowly work your way onto your forearms. This is a great quadricep stretch. Knees might lift up a little if they do. Mine always do. I put a pillow underneath so that I can feel the push down. Okay. You're welcome to come. Oh, I'm tight today. That sprint got me. If you'd like to, you can come all the way down onto your backs. You can even reach the arms over your heads. We'll just hold this one for 2 minutes. If you find that that's way too intense, which it really is for me tonight, which I'm kind of surprised. Pull the shoulders up and back if you're here because you don't want this roll. You're pulling them up and back for that stretch. My knees and shins are reaching down, okay? I'm pulling my thighs back. 1 more minute. Such a fabulous stretch. Now, if when you come out of this, you do feel some knee pressure, when you do it again, make sure you take a little washcloth and just roll it up behind the knee. It's such a fabulous place. That wasn't the ding, that was something on my computer. About 15 seconds. That's starting to ease for me. This is one of the things that I love about the yin, is that slowly with your breath, you can actually get down. And just as I get down, it's time to get up. Walk the hands to the elbows, right? From the elbows, come all the way up, come all the way back. Stretch, child's pose. I know we keep having to move all our pillows out of the way. It's okay, get honest. From here, we're going to go into a Sphinx pose. So a little bit of a back bend. Oh, this is so good for the low back. Take some deep stretches. Take some breaths. We're actually going to give ourselves a whole minute out of that one because that is pretty intense. Go ahead. There's the ding. Okay, walk those feet back. Come onto your belly. Sphinx, elbows below the shoulders. Those that I can see that are on, you know this pose, okay? And you can let the belly come down on the floor, but you're not just, it's not just going. You're still trying to lift the belly just a little bit. Hands are placed. If this is really intense, you can totally bring the hands together. I love them here. And then you're pulling the shoulders back. They're going that way towards your feet. If you feel this in your low back, you are welcome to come just a little bit lower. You can actually do a floating Sphinx with the elbows up. Okay, it gives you a nice stretch in the mid back. Or you can do this and just get that up, or we've got 2 more dings. The last pose we'll do after this one is twisted root on both sides. See if you can breathe just as deeply. When we're pressing our belly into the floor, it is harder. There is no question. One more ding. You try to get your breath just as long as you can. Long and slow. Notice what it's doing to your body. My rib cage is in the mat, on the mat. When we're done, when we get a ding, elbows wide, head to one side. Okay. Take a couple more deep breaths, just 10 more seconds. Again, if like even this pose hurts, then you come out and come back in. Take the elbows wide, turn the head to one side. Take some breaths that go completely up the spine, up and down the spine. You'll feel the rib cage lift up into the shoulders. Even maybe the head grow a little longer, and then the exhale just totally goes back down the spine. So almost like you've got a rolling pin. Up the spine and down the spine. Go ahead, and if you want, you can just totally twist over to the other side. I'm going to come here so you can see. You guys know twisted root. Okay, legs up in the air, twist. Now, if you can totally stay here, or you can hook underneath. Whichever leg's on top, you're going that direction. So that the one leg is on top, right? Plant both elbows, move the shoulders. Now again, we do this if you've got a strain in that shoulder at all. Come back, hand to the rib cage and push it back. You also can use pillows underneath leg and shoulder. Try to look over the shoulder and the rib cage. I have a hand I keep right on this ribs to help just remind that twist. Okay, we're just holding it 2 minutes. Start to just let things go. See if you get a little bit more room and range of motion. that too? I think that is. Unwind. The legs unwind here, and then lift one knee and then the other. Just pause here. I'd like you to hug your knees into your chest and just rock side to side. Okay, that's a compression on the low back. And then other leg, cross it over, wrap it up. We'll get into the pose and there'll be 2 minutes. If you want to block, okay, I go for the knees first, hand on the rib cage, elbows into the floor, back of the head for the twist back over. And I keep a hand here because this is where I want the give. I don't want my shoulder just necessarily to be able to open up. But if I can get the rib cage to do so, then the shoulder actually follows. One hand can be on this leg. We're not pushing down, but gravity will help. At first, I feel my breath just being really difficult. And then as okay, just release and let it go, I feel the give start to happen. One more deep. Notice that breath. Feel how it's softened. Feel how it's like your body adapts. I love that about our bodies. This sting, back in. Go ahead and slowly come out. Work your way into your Shavasana. If you need your knees into your chest for a moment, please grab them in. If you'd like to do a seated Shavasana, it's one of my favorites. Let the breath wash over you. And then slowly we come to a place where the breath isn't even, just not paying attention to. Let your body feel heavy, at peace. Deepen your breath, letting it again wash up and over your spine, up and down the spine. Let yourself feel that sense of wonderment as you become back and again aware of the different parts of your body. And then slowly, gently move tiny little movements with your fingers and your toes. Let those movements grow. Maybe you gently bring the arms over the head for a stretch. And then work your way gently and slowly from your back to your side. And on your side, it's one of my favorite places to curl up, that little fetal position, and just feel that sense of wonderment and gratitude for this amazing body, for all that it can do. This is one of my topics I talk about often. Just the idea that we're so easy sometimes to complain about the things that are wrong. And this gives us such an opportunity to remember how much more is going right. Once you're in that seat, go ahead and pause for about 5 breaths. And gently bring the hands to your heart center. We'll end the way we start and bookend this class with another Om. Inhale deeply, exhale audibly. Inhale to Om. Om. Have a delicious sleep. Namaste. See you later, guys.